Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with a Bat by Bat video for you today. This is volume 3 of 8 of these, and today we are talking about Adam West. Apologize in advance for not having a Batman t-shirt. I seem to have misplaced the one I had set out. Um, well, I have so many fucking Batman shirts, it's insane. Anyhow, so yeah, Adam West. There's really no way getting around the importance and the impact of Adam West's work with the character and time spent with the character as well. Now, according to legend, William Dozier was some Hollywood party. They were having a screening of the Batman serial there, and the crowd were just belly laughing at how unintentionally funny it was. And this is what gave Dozier the idea for a campy, tongue-in-cheek comedy action show based on Batman. Now, the show itself had 3 seasons and just so many memorable characters. And of course, there was Burt Ward as as Robin, to still my favorite Robin, the best Robin. His enthusiasm for this part almost solely makes the whole thing work. And yeah, then there was Adam West as Batman. Adam West, to date, is the only blonde guy to ever play Batman. And even though, yeah, he was funny, it was a funny show. His costume was kind of made to not be 100% complimentary. His expression was drawn on his mask. His ears were really short, and if you had the wrong TV, his costume looked purple. But he was great at the physical comedy. You know, the dancing scenes and the running scenes were supposed to be funny, very funny. But when he needed to look cool, he did. He looked cool. You know, like scenes where Gordon's explaining something to him in his office, and Batman's just standing there with a cape, shrouded like a bat, just standing there listening, looking badass. You know, I loved little things like that. He always threw into, you know, like the way he throw the cape over his head or put his wings up like that. He really got into the physical nature of playing Batman. And his deadpan delivery shit is absolutely hysterical. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and do my Adam West impression, but I mean, what kid didn't do an Adam West impression? Old Chum. He is the old Chum era, by the way. He is an era into himself. Era 2 of Batman was old Chum. Yeah, so also we brought in Neil Hamilton, who played Commissioner Gordon, as well as Alan Napier, who's, again, maybe the best Alfred ever. Probably is, actually. And he was just great on the show. We also had, forget his name. We brought in characters like Aunt Harriet, Chief O'Hara, who've been referenced over the years, both in comic books and cartoons. I think Chief O'Hara is actually a small character in the Lego Batman movie. And then there's our rogues gallery of villains. Oh, goodness gracious. Of course, start with the big one, the Joker. Cesar Romero as the first actor to ever play the clown prince of crime. An absolutely manic performance all throughout the series. I've always loved his work as the Joker. I really think he kind of set a bar. You know, all 4 guys who've played Joker since, they had to be as good as Caesar. You know what I mean? He's great on the show. There's Burgess Meredith as the Penguin. Really made the character iconic. There is no bad Penguin, in my opinion, so far. All 3 actors who've played the Penguin did a phenomenal job in making the role their own. Fine feathered Finks. There's Frank Gorson as the Riddler. Kind of made Riddler a household name. Riddler appeared in a few comics, a few stories back in the 40s, but wasn't as big a deal until they brought him into the show. And it was really Frank Gorson's work that made the Riddler so iconic of a villain. Even in the movie Batman 1966, in there with all the other villains, Gorson steals the show. Also, John Astin did play the Riddler in in one episode, and my theory is that the Riddler's new mask in the movie. I'm suspicious of whether or not that was inspired in some way by Frank Gorson's Elephant Mask on the first episode of Batman 66. Um, and Lee Merriweather as Catwoman. She played Catwoman in the movie exclusively. On the show, Julie Newmar played Catwoman, and then I think in the third season, Eartha Kitt played Catwoman. There was villains also on the show. Mr. Freeze appeared on 3 different occasions, being played by 3 respective Hollywood icons: Eli Wallach, George Saunders, and Otto Preminger. The Mad Hatter made a few appearances. The Clock King made at least 1 appearance, maybe more. And then there are characters that they created for the show just to have these kind of personalities or character actors that they wanted to work with. You know what I mean? Like there's Roddy McDowell as Bookworm, Cliff Robertson as Shame, Vincent Price as Egghead, Victor Buono as King Tut, and Milton Berle as Louis the Lilac. And that was just some of the ones they made up for the show. As a lifelong fan, I've always kind of wish they would have been able to work in characters like Two-Face, the Scarecrow, Poison Ivy, and Dr. Hugo Strange. But it is what it is. And of course, the last one I got to point out is Yvonne Craig, as she wasn't a villain, but she played Batgirl, still the all-time best Batgirl. Created the role, and she was great in the part and so hot. Now the movie, the whole setup came out in 1966, and they had bigger budget and longer runtime, obviously. But they bring in the 4 main villains: Joker, Penguin, Riddler, and Catwoman, all trying to bring down Batman and Robin, and it's a whole situation with the UN. They want to bring down the UN. And just gadgets galore in this one, man. And that's another thing that I finally get to talk about with Batman, the gadgets. Oh, man, just anything you could think of pop up in these Batman shows and in this movie. I mean, and it's always it's a joke. They used to be played up as gags, anything convenient for this moment. A shark or like a shark's coming at you, shark propellant spray. There's a radio dial that makes torpedoes explode without hitting anything. What? Just all stupid shit. And the car. Oh, finally, we have a Batmobile. And it's maybe the most iconic of all Batmobiles. Oh my God, what's the line? Engines to power, turbines to speed. It was great stuff. The Batmobile was wonderful. And in the movie, we got shit like the Batcopter and the Bat Cycle with the Bat sidecar and the Bat speedboat. It's just so many Batman shit here. It was a great show. And one thing I want to point out that I've always appreciated about it was they didn't kill people a lot on that show. But whenever they did deal with death, it was always treated with gravity and seriousness. Even if it was just like a nameless henchman. It was always like, oh shit, man, that guy's dead. Fuck. And I liked that. Even in modern superhero movies and action films in general, it's almost too passive. I mean, like, say, take the MCU, for example. At the beginning of Age of Ultron, the Avengers are tearing through this Hydra plant, right? They're killing these guys left and right. But on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier TV show, the new Captain America guy, whatever his name is, Agent US, or whatever the fuck his name is now, he's in a fist fight with a super soldier. He doesn't have super soldier powers. He just has a shield. The other guy got super soldier powers. He wins the fight, kills the super soldier, and he's treated like the bad guy, like he did. The fucking Avengers kill people every week. This guy kills one terrorist who has him massively outmanned and a huge advantage over him, and he's a bad guy somehow. That show was awful. as far as those MCU shows, I gave up after Falcon. I haven't watched Loki. I haven't watched What If. I haven't watched Hawkeye. I'm not gonna watch Moon Knight most likely, and I love Moon Knight. But as far as the conclusion of Batman, since the Dozier era, it was great. It was part of the three Bs of the '60s. That being Bond, Beatles, and Batman. All huge, massive, revolutionary, iconic things. And Batman, Adam West, unlike my generation, would be the only Batman for entire generation. All the whole run of the baby boomers. I mean, he did the 3 seasons of the show, the movie, and then for the next 23 years, TV appearances, TV specials, animated voice work, car shows, conventions. He was always popping up. I had this DVD that was some kind of just like home video footage of him in the suit at some kind of car convention in like the mid '80s. He seemed very miserable. But yeah, that's out there. There's some footage. There's some floating around of like a TV special around the time they were shooting, or before Batman '89 came out, where they bring out basically the whole cast. Alan Napier and Cesar Romero had already passed, but there's Burt Ward and Adam West and Lee Merriweather and Frank Gorson and Burgess. No, well, Burgess Meredith was he was still alive. He died in the '90s, late '90s. But yeah, it was revolutionary, iconic, and it was so insane that by the time I was a kid and the Tim Burton movies were popular and everything, people my age, kids, genuinely did not seem to realize Batman '66 was a comedy. They didn't realize it was supposed to be funny. And I think that really took a lot of kids, younger kids, out of it at that time. I don't know what else to say about Batman. I mean, I can say a lot more about Batman '66, but this video's already gone 12 minutes, and it was something special, something truly revolutionary, and it was so successful that it was actually considered a risk in '89 when Tim Burton went for a darker tone. And speaking of that darker tone, next episode, we're going to get into my era of Batman, my personal favorite stuff. Oh, the Michael Keaton era. And I promise I'll try not to just have it full of personal anecdotes of how much I love this era. Anyhow, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm Jake Davis, and I'll catch you on the fly. Again with this?